Good evening. I'll entertain a motion to reopen the hearing on Michael Carrier.
I'll make that motion to reopen the
Is there
carrier.
a second on that?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Welcome back, gentlemen. So, we did a site visit last month, and I don't know if there's any more questions from anyone on that. Took a look around, things look good. Was the general consensus?
Mm-hmm. I did go there today.
Okay. Any thoughts, questions?
I don't really have any questions. I know that from the hearing last week that the driveway was an issue,
Mhm.
or concern, I should say.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if it was our job to address that. I know safety is on our list. So I don't know if there was discussion about that.
We did discuss the safety a little bit, and also the neighbor came over and they discussed some potential striping or
Mm-hmm.
things like that. They seemed to come to agreement on that there probably wouldn't be too much conflict with his potential traffic and the current
The in and out.
traffic with the gym. So
Okay,
they were gonna kinda play it out, see how it went, with
Okay.
Maybe some potential striping, so
okay.
that's
So
kinda where
no
we left it.
additional work from MassDOT or highway or anything like that?
No, I think if they get involved, probably won't be good for either one of them. Either one of them.
And it's out of our hands either way?
Right,
Okay.
right. I think as far as we're concerned.
Did you want to read his affidavit? He was
Oh,
not here
I
last
did.
month, so.
Just read this into the record. I, Richard Haskins, hereby certify that I have examined the audio, video, and/or written transcript of the public hearing heard by the Board of Appeals held on April 4th, 2019, and I certify that I have complete knowledge and understanding of all elements contained therein.
Yes, sir.
All right, so what other questions and stuff? Do we have any new information that you guys have for us?
I think we probably covered, I'm Blaze Berthium, by the way, I'm an attorney in North Brookfield. My son was before you previously, but
Okay.
he's unable to be here tonight and asked me to cover this for him, which is what fathers typically do. Knowing my son, he probably went into some detail with you about the intended use, which is allowable in a B2 section by special permit. Mr. Carrier is a landscape contractor. He'll continue to operate his landscape business at that location, primarily his fertilizer business. Doesn't expect any customers to be visiting the site. He will have an office there, but not for retail. He generally goes to job sites. He'll have 4 to 5 vans there that'll go out in the morning, come back in the evening. So the traffic out of his location is going to be very limited. Previously, as you know, it was a paving company, and I suspect there's going to be less in and out, and certainly smaller vehicles than previously had been there. So, and he's surrounded, as you know, by other commercial uses, including 2 other landscape contractors. So I just asked the board to approve the special permit.
All right. Is there any more questions from the board?
For me?
Is there anyone here who would like to speak for or against this petition? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Make a motion to close the hearing.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll do a work session in a little bit, and if you wanna stay, you can, but otherwise, Lynn will be available tomorrow.
I won't be in the office tomorrow or Monday, but I can certainly leave word with John if you want to give a call.
Okay. In other words, you'll vote
Yep.
later on this evening. We don't have to be here for the vote.
Correct.
You can be if you'd like.
Yep,
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. We have another minute, so we have some meeting minutes in front of us.
Minutes
From
in a
April?
minute.
We have a minute to do some minutes.
Right, sign these? I wasn't here.
You
I-
watched the tape.
I watched it.
Yep.
Okay.
If everyone is comfortable with the minutes, I'd entertain a motion to approve these minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second the motion to approve the minutes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. To all interested inhabitants of the town of Sutton, in accordance with the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 11, the Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing at the Sutton Town Hall on May 9th, 2019, at 7:05 PM on the petition of Brenda and Thomas Stasinski. The petitioners request a special permit, Section 7A2, as it pertains to Section 1C, 2D of the town's zoning bylaws to construct decks and a retaining wall on the pre-existing non-conforming structure and lot. The property that is the subject of this petition is located at 176 Manchog Road, as shown on Assessor's Map number 42, parcel number 17. The property is located in the R1 Residential Zoning District. A copy of the petition may be inspected during normal office hours in the town clerk's office located in the town hall. Any person interested or wishing to be heard on this variance petition should appear at the time and place designated. Daniel Petrelli, Board of Appeals Clerk. Welcome this evening. If you could just state your name for the record.
Good evening. My name is John Federico with Gurrier and Hellman, and tonight I will be representing our clients Thomas and Brenda Stasinski, as you mentioned, for the project at 176 Manchog.
Can I just ask that you speak up into the microphones?
Sure thing.
Can
Sorry
you
about
move them a little closer, just. Thank
All
you.
right, if you'd like to go over your petition.
Sure. Would you guys like a full project recap, or just specifically what we'll be asking for zoning board of appeals today? I think a recap would be good.
Sure.
Okay.
I would say so too.
So originally, and Brenda, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but our clients purchased around April or May of last year the property at 176 Manchog. As a part of the purchase, they did have to get a Title V inspection done for their existing septic system. That inspection results yielded a failed system for it, so they did approach us to have that situation rectified. We already have gone in front of the Board of Health and have obtained approval to get a tight tank installed, and that has been designed per Mass DEP Title V criteria for it. In addition to the tight tank, our clients had expressed some concerns over some safety issues where they were parking in the very narrow right-of-way in between the pavement and their existing retaining wall. From the retaining wall down to existing ground, there was a several-foot drop-off, so we had some concerns, especially when they have visitors coming by, including their grandchildren, that it could just be a tripping hazard. So we ended up proposing a driveway that could fit about 2 cars with some concrete walkways next to the existing garage for them to be able to park off the right-of-way, also protect any cars on the right-of-way as well from driving by. In addition to that, they would like to be able to kind of utilize their space a little bit better and kind of enjoy Manchog Pond and everything that it has to offer. So they're also looking to get a deck to be built around the house for it. Recently, we have gone back in front of Conservation Commission to amend our originally approved order of conditions to add in the deck portion, as that was not a part of the original submittal for it. And per some comments from Conservation, the most recent being yesterday, we had to modify the deck in order to meet some of their standards for it. So that's why the plan in front of you guys today is slightly different than what we have presented tonight. Unfortunately, I was not able to get a PE stamped copy prior to this meeting sent over to you guys. So I can definitely make sure that we can get that over to you sometime next week for your review and approval at that point. But
So, to interrupt for a sec, so the drawings that we're looking at dated 4/5/19 are the current ones?
no, this one here is the most current plan. So some of the changes that you're seeing mostly is with the details, and then some minor changes with the layout itself. Per some Board of Health comments, we were asked to add in buoyancy calculations for our tight tank, as well as deep hole test information that will be located over here. And then per Conservation comments, we have remodified the deck in order to keep it out of their 25-foot no structure and no disturb zone, as well as we added in a small water quality swale to help with any sort of potential runoff that could be affected by having the deck proposed out there. In addition, if I'm not mistaken from the plan that you have, we've also reduced down on the southwestern property line the setback distance from the proposed retaining wall we have to the property line. Initially, we were proposing 5 feet. Currently, we are showing 7.8 feet. The reasoning for that was, after speaking with the well contractor, it wasn't advised to install a manhole rim and lid on top of the well and bringing that essentially up to what we were proposing for our driveway grade. So we've pulled back the wall by approximately 3 feet or so, and then allowing a little bit more space in between the adjacent property. In terms of the retaining wall, I know that our clients have spoken to their neighbor for it, and they have absolutely no issues whatsoever with that being proposed. And then I know as far as the grades that we're proposing, just so we can maintain coverage on top of the tight tank, at its most stringent point, we're gonna be about 6 to 7 feet tall. Grades by where the tight tank will be, and at the base of the wall will be about 529, and then the top of that retaining wall will be about 536 and a half. At its shallowest point over by the well, we're only gonna be looking at about a 1 foot tall portion, and obviously we'll try to bring up grades as much as we can so that we don't have anything that's really gonna be over 4 feet except for a very small area for it.
Okay.
And then if you guys would like me to kind of recap for the changes for the proposed deck, I can do that for you.
Please.
Initially, we were proposing, bear with me one second, 14 by 25 foot 2-story deck. Both floors were gonna be the same size. As of right now, we've reduced the first floor portion of the deck. It's only gonna be 14 by 8 feet now. And then that would just be brought as close to grade as possible, just so that our clients can have a smooth area to be able to walk out on and to kind of transition onto the existing surface there. From some site visits that we've done, there are some divots that are out there, and it's just not a very smooth area, so instead of regrading, we're gonna propose the deck for that. As far as the portion the second floor would be, it is gonna be slightly lower than what the elevation is for the main portion of the house, approximately 3 inches. And then we are just providing enough space essentially so that they can have some seating areas around the house and then be able to access from the existing concrete pad. There is a door that is located here, so the original deck that we had proposed, instead of just slightly doing some modifications to it, kind of bringing it up into compliance, we just are requesting that we can extend that all the way through to meet the other portion of the deck so that they can just continue full connectivity through. Deck will not be covered in any way. There will be railings and things proposed for it. I do have a slight cross-section showing the portion of the deck for it, but I can get you guys some more details if you would like to know any of the specifics from the contractor.
Yeah, if there's any type of architectural drawing with, rendering the decks, what they would look like, possibly from.
As of right now, I don't believe we had
Okay.
We don't have-
architect
yeah.
involved for it.
Okay.
But if that's something that you will require, I'm sure we can throw together something to kind of help you guys see what that would all look like. But as I mentioned,
Would
it's
be-
just going to be a standard composite wooden deck with railing at that point.
No, the top deck is not covered, it's open.
That is correct.
So we trim back the top there, and what's the closest it gets to the water now? What's that distance?
As of right now, to the retaining wall, the closest point is going to be 24.9 feet.
24.
It's slightly over what the 25-foot no build is, but there's not going to be any permanent structure there, and we're going to be requesting a variance from Conservation Commission just to allow the 2-inch overhang.
Mhm.
And then in terms of the closest point at the property line, for the side yard, originally the existing deck was approximately 7.5 feet. We're still maintaining that at one portion, but due to some stairs that we're just gonna be proposing to get down to existing grades, we're gonna be at about 7.1 feet.
I have a question regarding the math, the setback from the water, right? The drawing that I'm looking at has a distance of 14.7 feet.
Yes, originally we had a 14-foot deck that was extending out. That's only gonna be 8 feet now, so that distance got
But the
brought back.
setback's 25, right, or the 24?
Yes, initially when we were proposing that,
So then that
we
would
weren't
make the
fully-
deck 4 feet, right?
Uh,
If the setback is 10 feet larger than what's indicated here, then the deck would be 10 feet shorter, right?
I'm sorry, I'm not following you on that.
So from the plan that I have.
Yes.
has 14.7 feet to the water, right?
Yes,
Your plan has 24 point,
9 feet.
so then the deck would be, if it's 14 feet deep now, it would be, how can it be 8?
No, as of right now, it's only 8 feet deep. Originally, we were proposing it as 14
Okay, so
feet deep.
14 plus 6 is 20.
Yes, in addition to that, also we've bumped it back an additional foot in one area, and then because the deck is not gonna be as, wide as it was long initially, cause it was gonna be about 25 feet, so somewhere out to here, and then up 14 feet. When you have that perpendicularly going into the retaining wall, the portion where it's being measured from now is actually further away than what it was originally. And if you would like, I could send you guys a graphic showing an overlay between the two, if that visualization helps.
Well, I
at
think
all.
we just
We
need
see
to
better
actually have
plans, yeah.
submitted to us what we're being asked to vote on.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we'll definitely look at some plans. So this is what I did based on what I can see from 10 feet away. So
I can bring this up to you
This will
if you
align
would
with
like.
this, and this is going to be 8 feet and go here, so that,
Right,
that
oh, 'cause
dimension
it
will be
pushes it-
24.
pushes it
So
back.
it's 14 feet here, and whatever the dimension is here. But this is further than the 14 feet away. You follow me?
Mhm.
So this is a little bit, so further that way. So
I
it
wouldn't
looks
mind
like
a
that's
closer look
approximately
if you
where
don't
the
mind.
corner would be. 'Cause this straight line comes right up.
So the proposed work is
Thanks.
this little patch on the driveway, right, that connects the, what does that connect, the town road to the,
I see, so it's got like a little divot there.
Okay, John.
so the bubble, the parking area, the 2-car parking area, the whole shaded area is new?
Yes, that will be proposed. And then adjacent to that is the existing garage that is there, and then as far as the other shaded area, it's just the existing building.
So it's the new parking area, the stairs,
Yes,
And then on here, it's.
and then as
the
far as,
retaining walls, the deck.
and that's it, that's gonna be proposed.
It's kinda only two
Outside of
pieces.
that,
This one's
the
kinda
concrete pad that's
stone
being
retaining.
shown there is existing, and then the small retaining wall and extension of that concrete pad is gonna be removed and replaced with grass. And that's
Should be
currently
just
where
a
the
typo
tight
where
tank
they
is being
pulled it from.
proposed.
So you're extending your concrete pad?
No, the concrete pad will actually be reduced.
So comparing the two, when I look at the line from the closest corner, on our version it goes up to, looks like the property line, and then here it goes past the property line to the stone retaining wall.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So as far as the
Ah.
property line goes, and I can get some more clarification from our survey division if you do have any questions on it.
Sure.
It is originally, or the physical property line for the property is the former northwest property line of the Peter Stockwell Farm. That property line was established.
All the way up there.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I see.
Out in the
River goes
pond at
here.
that point.
Mhm.
I'm not fully sure why they ended up adding in that 50.09
Right, yeah, I was wondering about that
feet.
one.
I
Okay.
believe that might have been something for calculation purposes, but the property line does extend out.
Okay.
In terms of the measurement, since we are using this plan also for conservation
Right.
and Board of Health, conservation has asked that we measure out to the water or
Exactly, okay.
retaining wall edge at that point.
Okay. Then the portion of the deck, near the front right, it says existing deck to be removed. Is it being replaced?
Yes, originally we were just gonna be doing essentially like a rehab on it, but now that we're gonna be connecting the two, it would just be fully removed and then replaced
Okay.
with all the same
So
components.
it'll be all new. Okay. You guys like to look at the revised plan?
Sure.
Chris, you all set?
I looked a little bit. So how, you say
I
in
need
your
a
plan.
clipboard like this. I don't know what I'd do with it, but I want one.
You're increasing the non-conformity by 0.4.
Initially, we were, it's, if we round up at the closest point where the concrete pad was, it was almost 8 feet to the existing. We were gonna slightly expand that. It wasn't a full 8-foot wide deck. At its most stringent point, we're only going to be increasing it by 4. But after kind of re-examining the whole site, in actuality, the garage is what's going to be the closest to any sort of property lines, and we're only looking at about 1.4 feet or so to the side lot, and then about 6.7 feet to the front property line. But as I did mention though, with the new plan, now the most tightest point will be at 7.1 feet, so it'll be a change of about 0.9, at least from the deck setback to what we're now proposing for the new deck.
That's the increase, that'll be the new.
Yeah, yes.
Existing well number 2, is it the neighbor's well?
Yes, it is. As far as that being located on our property or right on that property line, that was something that was done well before, but we did try to, when citing the system and everything, initially take all that into account for
Sure.
it.
The plan that you submitted doesn't indicate the location of the abutting homes?
That was something that we weren't really intending to show, but if you would need something revised where we do show an existing home on either side, we can definitely provide that information.
Are they, as you would expect, are they similar distance? Are there similar setbacks from the water, similar setbacks from the property lines?
I'm not aware if our survey team was able to pick up any decks or anything. They might have just picked up just the building footprint itself for it.
Well, the house to the left, if you're looking at the water, the house to the left is set back a little bit, just almost even with ours. There's no decking on it. Nobody lives in it. And the house to the right of us is actually closer to the water, right? So it's, in all the lots along there, or several of the lots along there, they're all the same width
Yeah.
and length, so.
Kind of tight.
Yeah. Sure.
Cozy Lake living.
Yep.
Good water view, though.
What's that?
Good water view.
Oh, yeah.
It's worth it.
All right, do we have any more questions from the board?
No, I feel,
I think we need better plans.
yeah, I think if we have the final plans
Yep.
and I really would like to walk the property.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
See the,
Yep.
where the neighbors' homes are and
Mhm.
see where the existing buildings are, building is rather, the existing driveway and wall, and kind of measure up where the proposed changes would end up. So I'm not sure if you wanna wait till we have the plans to schedule that? Or schedule it.
I think we schedule it.
Schedule it after, so we would have the plans in hand first. Did that make sense the third time I said it?
Yeah, I think
Catch it
that
again, maybe one more time.
I think the plans and amending the
Yeah.
application indicate what they're asking for in the application isn't what they're asking for anymore, so I think that,
And if we're gonna vote, I think we need to get what we're gonna vote on in front of us.
Mhm.
Sort of a, yeah, there's a multiple parts to this one too. It's constructing the deck, removing existing deck, and the driveway retaining wall. Is the garage is already there?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay. So there's like the 3 pieces, basically, or it's sort of just 2 pieces at this point. The deck and then the driveway.
Yes.
Okay.
So how much time do you need to get us some plans?
As far as plans go, I'm gonna be requesting the stamp plan from our PE tomorrow. As far as the original copy, I can definitely provide you with 9 originals or 1 original and 8 copies if that's sufficient for you guys. Sometime next week, we can have a courier hand deliver it for us.
To be clear, those plans are gonna be the architectural plans for the deck too, is that?
As far as those go, as of right now, it's just from what the contractor is going to be constructing. If we do have to reach out to somebody for anything architectural related, or if we do have to do any sort of rendering for it, I'm not sure what the time frame for that might be. But at least for this plan here that you're seeing tonight, as far as that goes, and then the updated application, like I said, I can have that over to you first thing next week.
I don't think we need to go crazy with architectural.
Yeah, you don't need to
I
hire
think
an
if-
architect, we just need to know what
If
we're
you-
looking at, and so we can put it in the file, and so we want whatever is ultimately built to match what we voted on.
Okay.
Even if the builder, if you have a builder, even if they did a sketch of just kind of what the decks are gonna look like, you don't have to go crazy, but if we just had a sketch, and then, you know, obviously, the plan you're gonna provide, just so we could get good visual of it.
Okay. Do you
And it-
need the dimensions, like the height and all that, or?
Oh, everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
can,
fully dimensioned.
just, yeah, it would certainly help.
And
The
then
more the
they'll probably
merrier.
be looking for any specific details for like railings or things like that as well.
Yeah, just typically the last couple of decks on a lake, I mean, they've all included sort of like architectural sketches. I mean, they weren't, like you said, they weren't crazy,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah, you don't have to hire an architect, but
No, but,
even a builder's
I-
sketch with some
and
dimensions.
I would think someone in your firm has gotta be able to have a
Yeah.
program
Or
to
even
come up
a-
with some sort
I
of
mean,
rough
I can
drawing.
definitely in CAD draw something up. I mean, I don't
Sure.
know how pretty it would look
That's
in
okay.
terms of everything else, but
We've
I'll
had some
definitely.
pretty basic and
Yeah,
generic drawings.
Really, I mean, you can almost sketch it by hand as long as it's.
In that
What's
case,
important is
realistic.
we understand intent, right? You need
Yeah.
to clearly outline and indicate what it is that you're
Mhm.
gonna be building, so that, you know, the two match.
Okay.
What you're asking for and what actually gets constructed, or, you know, we can look at them and say,
Yep,
yeah.
no,
that's it.
And
I-
in
I
the
can
elevation
definitely
drawings,
do
we
that.
wanna know the width and certainly the height.
Okay, yes, no, we
Something
can
like-
definitely be able to provide you guys with all that information.
Okay.
And again, my apologies for at least not having the plan and application updated. As like I mentioned, you know, we just received conservation comments yesterday, so
Plans
everybody's
evolved,
a little bit trying to get caught up for this project for it. But is there any like specific other information that you guys might need to be included with that resubmittal?
Not that I can think of.
Lynn, in a situation where they filed their application and what they're asking for is different than what they filed in their application, should they refile
It's
the
not that
changes?
different.
Not
that
different
they have
enough,
to
okay.
refile.
And it's,
No.
we're not granting a variance for a specified distance, it's a special permit, so it's a little looser.
Yeah.
So what do you guys wanna do for sequencing? Do you wanna get a hold of a new plan and then do a site visit before the next meeting, or do it after the next meeting? What do you wanna do?
Well, I think we should try to get it in before the next meeting, so we could
So not this
either,
weekend, but-
we could either schedule it for a couple Saturdays out, or we could try to meet there at 6:30 next month before the next meeting, or something like that, whatever works for everybody.
I can't do Memorial Day weekend.
I think, you know, a Saturday morning or something that's
Yeah, I
not
mean,
Memorial
whatever.
Day weekend to meet out there. I think if we give them a couple of weeks, they should be able to have plans in our hands, and I can come by and either pick up my copy or everyone can.
Yeah,
I
I
can
can
drop them off once I receive them. I don't mind doing that.
Either that, I can grab them too and bring them with me,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
Either-
or we can just, I'll be there, I mean, we have an idea, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it won't be completely foreign to us, so
One
I
of us will
think,
grab the plans, or
yeah,
we can
I
send
think
them out.
that's fine.
So what does the calendar look like? That
Well,
is
it's
the
this
question.
square looking thing,
What is it?
squares in it.
Oh, I think we have one of those hanging on our wall.
Let's see.
I know Memorial Day is like,
Yeah, I think that's 2 weekends out, right? Not this
Not
weekend.
far away.
Not the next
Oh,
one,
no.
the one after.
So Saturday the 11th, then the next Saturday is the 18th, and the
18th.
25th is the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, so.
Wow.
So the
So we have the
18th is 9 days away.
so the 18th.
Well, I'm also good at math, by the way.
Yeah, I'm talking game tonight. Must be the new chair.
It is the chair.
We could,
So we could do the 19th, or the 18th rather?
I could do the 18th.
So do you think you could have the plans to us by the end of next week?
Yes, as I mentioned, I'll definitely be having our courier drop it off Monday, Tuesday next week.
Okay, and would you be able to have the elevations as well?
I'll talk to the contractor and see even if he can draw that up, or if not, I'll get the dimensions and everything that he's gonna be specifying for it, and I'll have that drawn up and included with that package as well.
Okay, so if we schedule the 18th, you don't need to make 2 trips, have a courier come up here twice with two different pieces of
Oh,
information.
no,
You
I'll make
can-
sure that everything will be
You
included
you
in
can,
that
you can
first
wait that, I mean,
package.
we won't look at them until the 18th, so.
Okay,
You don't have to rush to be, to have them here on Monday.
okay.
So, Saturday 18th.
5/18.
Are you guys available at that time?
You don't have to be there, but if you'd like to be there, you can, but, you know.
No, we're there.
Okay, you there all the time?
Do we need coffee?
No, not all the time.
Full tank of
Most of
gas
the
in the
time
boat.
it's
Coffee. We can't
Give
take,
you a boat
we can't
ride
take,
around the lake at the
we
same
can't take
time.
gifts over 79 cents, so don't go with the expensive coffee, please. No, thank you very much.
Cumberland is 99, so you're out.
So what time? I know you guys like to get up early on Saturday.
9.
Let's do 8.
Ooh. Everybody on board with 8?
Early. That's fine for us.
Do it.
Not gonna interrupt your nap, is it, Jim? Lambing
Take one
season will
later.
be over.
I'll just take one later.
There you go.
Just say 2 later.
And then,
All right,
I
so
do
we
have
have-
one question for the board. In terms of the elevation, I know as a part of the application, initially we were asked to submit 9 copies of the application and plan. Would you need 9 copies of the elevation as well, or that's something that,
I need one definitely for the file, what you guys choose for what
Yeah,
you
I
want.
just think you need half a dozen or something,
okay.
we can look at it.
And
You
then
don't have to go
in terms
crazy.
of a size for it, do you have any sort of preference, if it's
mean,
8.5 by 11,
yep,
1 by
8.5
17?
by-
Legible.
Okay,
Yeah, nothing fancy, just so we have something to
okay.
compare with and for the record. Is there anyone here who would speak for or against this petition? Not everyone at once, please.
I have a question.
Sure.
What
Please.
does this do to the timing, just so I can let the contractors know? Because we have 2 different things going on, so I need the driveway guy, you know, the
Yep.
septic guy and the other, so.
So right now, will be next month, we would be voting on it.
Okay,
So then, if we were to grant the special permit, there's what, the 20-day?
Yeah, it
Appeal.
takes me a couple of days to get it typed up. Town clerk signs it, then there's a 20-day appeal period. As long as it doesn't appear that anybody has an issue. After the 20 days, she'll sign it again, certifying that nobody's appealed, and then you can file it with the registry and you can move forward. I can't speak for the other boards, Board of Health, Conservation, where you stand as
Board
far
of
as
Health
they're
has already been
concerned.
approved at this point.
we're good with them.
And then Conservation, we have another meeting next week, so hopefully we'll have everything addressed with them at that time. One question I guess that I do have to ask would be, the biggest part of this project would obviously be making sure that the septic and the retaining wall would be put in for it. Would there be a possible way of maybe breaking out approval so that we could at least get the retaining wall and septic put in, and then you guys could go through, obviously any sort of full process you would need for the deck portion? I know we tried to keep it simple as possible and have everything kind of lumped together in the one application, but if that's something that I can maybe have another revised one, if that might be something that the board would grant in that case.
I'm not sure
I
you can.
I
Yeah,
think,
I
I think
don't
it's in
think
the
s-
single application, we've got
Yeah.
an open hearing, so.
Okay.
And the special permit covers everything,
Okay.
so,
Okay, well, we had said to them too, I was thinking that there'd be a little bit of a delay, like if it was gonna put us out another month,
Yeah.
so, but as long as we still think we're good to go, probably, hopefully by beginning of July, sometime first part of July.
I would
Yeah.
say so, as far
Yeah.
as this board.
as far as this
Okay.
board, yeah.
Yeah, I know we need the other approvals.
So what's the next date for our meeting, 7th?
It would be June 6th,
June 6th, okay.
and are you available 7 PM?
I know I'll be available,
Okay.
and then if not, I can represent on behalf of the clients for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is priority number 1.
All right, so any other questions or anything?
No?
I would entertain a motion to continue this hearing to, what did you say, June sixth?
June
7
6th.
PM?
I'll
7
make that
PM.
motion to continue this hearing to June 6th.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you
very
very
much,
much.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to open a work session on the Michael Carrier proposal,
Make a motion to open the work session on Michael Carey's proposal.
which I,
Oh,
Criteria?
yes.
Give you the honor.
Yes. Oh, we have to read them
do you
aloud?
have,
The cheat sheet?
no,
Cheat sheet's
the,
right there.
He's got a cheat sheet.
his original application, I seem to have
Yeah.
gotten it at home.
Here's,
I've got one, thanks.
okay. Lynn gave me copies because I'm between houses. So she helped me
Got a little
prepare.
bit of,
Living in your
a little
truck?
bit of everything everywhere.
So I do spend a lot of time in my truck.
Just let me know if you need. Okay.
So do we get a motion and a second on that? I got
I'll
lost.
make a motion right now to open a work session on Mr. Carrier's application.
I will second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So the applicant is asking for a special permit to operate his landscaping business at the 207 Worcester Providence Turnpike location. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the application for special permit.
I'll second.
All right, do we have some discussion to go over
I have,
make sure
I have a
it
question.
meets our criteria?
I have a question on this, adequacy of, number 2, adequacy of public sewage and water systems. There's, an updated, Title V inspection report. I haven't studied this, but is this really more Board of Health?
Well,
Then zoning?
last,
It is, but
the reason why
We just asked
I
a copy of it.
submitted that, only because I had thought, I remembered that the attorney was gonna send over a copy,
Mm-hmm.
right.
and he didn't, so, and
Okay.
it was just as easy for me to
Thank you.
get it
Yep,
Oh, okay.
next office over.
so this is evidence to the fact that there is
It passed.
proper,
Need no further.
Right there. Okay.
all right, what's next on
So,
our?
in acting upon an application for a special permit, the board shall take into consideration, number 1, the appropriateness of the specific site as a location for the use.
Seems
I think it's appropriate, there are
With,
other similar businesses
Several
there.
other
Yeah.
landscape contractors next
Mhm.
door.
Number 2, public sewage and water systems we just covered. Number 3, the effect of the developed use upon the neighborhood. It's commercial, there are businesses on both sides of the street.
I'd say it's probably gonna be less intrusive than what was there before.
Mhm.
Say less impact,
Certainly.
less traffic, yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Number 4, whether there will be undue nuisance or serious hazards to vehicles or pedestrians. And I think that concern was addressed by the neighbors
Right.
working out the cross-traffic.
right, and then once again, previously, the prior owner had trailer trucks backing out of there, and this guy's just gonna have some normal vehicles
I
and
went
vans and stuff.
I went there today, and as I was driving out, you could see the gouges from the
Trailer.
trailers extended beyond the rear axle, just digging up the driveway.
Yeah.
Ironic, it's a paving company, and I left it looking like that. Number 5 then is whether adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided to ensure the proper operation of the proposed use, structure, or condition. Buildings are standing, there's
Right.
space for parking,
All his material's gonna be kept inside,
Yep.
so it's,
drive clearly all the way around the building, so I think it meets the 5 criteria that we consider.
Excellent.
I agree,
And we like business in town.
That's right.
that's right. So, no other questions, comments? So we had a motion to grant the special permit, need a second on that?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? You guys get it? Got that all written up there, clerk?
Pretty good, actually.
He's fast.
Entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion to adjourn, that is.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. See you next month.
See you next month.